Rob, please come up. Rob Douglas is an elected North Cowichan councillor and chair of the new Forest Advisory Committee. Do you want the stage?
Maybe stage.
There you go. Yeah. Go for it.
Yes. So the mayor covered a lot of really good points. I'm not sure if there's much left for me to say. Yeah, as Guy was saying, I'm a North Cowichan councillor. I'm currently the chair of our Forest Advisory Committee, and Mayor Sebring covered a lot of the history, but that committee goes back to 1981, so it's a year older than me. But it was set up, as Mayor Sebring said, when the last time we did a major operational review of the municipal forest, and the whole idea was to improve the long-term sustainability of the operation. And if you look at those early stages when we were setting up, I mean, Dave Haley's here in the audience tonight. He was one of the original people involved in setting up that model. So I mean, I totally agree with everyone that we should be looking at making improvements, but I think we got to acknowledge that at that period in the 1980s, North Cowichan did look at making some major improvements on the model that we had in place that Mayor Sebring referred to with that, you know, no trees on Mount Provo and that one shot from whatever it was, 1964. But if I could just step back for one sec before talking about North Cowichan. Jennifer from Grand Forks, you brought up the idea of more local control right across BC. And I remember 5 years ago, I was up on the stage along with my friend Ray Travers, who's going to be part of the panel here tonight. We organized a talk all about new models of forestry. And what Ray and I have been pushing for quite a number of years now is we've been working with the former BC Forest Minister, Bob Williams, and he's laid out just a really strong case for more regional and local control of forestry management right across BC. And so if you got any time to just do a quick Google search, look it up. It's Bob Williams, The Case for Regional Forestry Management. It's published through the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. And there's relevance here, but there's relevance right across BC. And I think as you said, Jennifer, the government needs to hear from the people. And I think this is something that I know I've met with our MLA, I've met with the Forest Minister about it, and they need pressure from us if we're going to see any of these big changes. So I'd encourage you all to check that out. So in terms of what we're doing at North Cowichan here, Mayor Sebring touched on it, but there's been some really exciting developments just in the last month, mainly with regards to our Forest Advisory Committee. And I mean, the way our committees are set up, they're called advisory committees, and they're just that. They provide recommendations, advice to council. Council's free to consider, adopting or rejecting that advice. But, typically we bring together subject matter experts, people from the community, and it carries a lot of weight when that advice comes to council. So traditionally we've had 3 professional foresters and a mix of elected officials on that committee. And as Mayor Sebring said, in the last month we've expanded that committee. We've doubled the size. So we've got, a professional biologist who is a world-renowned ecological restoration expert. We've got a landscape architect who lectures on forestry at UBC. We've got, as Mayor Sebring said, representatives from Halal, someone who's got a background at the Davis Suzuki Foundation of Forestry, a representative from Cowichan Tribes who manages their own community forests, and as well as someone from the Cowichan Trail Stewardship Society who I've found out has a background in GIS related to forestry. So it's, as you were saying, Al, there's a lot of horsepower with that committee. We just held our first meeting yesterday morning, and I can't tell you how excited I am to work with these people over the next coming months or years maybe, as we chart out a new course for our municipal forest here in North Cowichan. Is my time up? I got one last point. Oh, just one last point. The other big change we made, and this might sound kind of dry, but it's significant, is we revised our terms of reference for our committee. So traditionally the focus has been on, I'd say quite narrow, on advising council on forestry operations, audits, financials, and that sort of thing. But we've broadened it since then. So now what we're looking at is a review of our current forest practices to provide short and long-term recommendations for improvements to enhance our municipal forest reserve. Also to consider sustainable forestry practices that are focused on ecological stewardship and providing for biodiversity. And then finally to consider the vision and management of the overall municipal forest. So it's a much broader scope and mandate. And like I said, I can't tell you how excited I am to work with this committee and with my colleagues on council just to see what we can accomplish over these coming months and years to improve this already, enhance this already valuable community resource. Thank you.
you.